Welcome, everyone. On behalf of the entire congregation, I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Shenandoah Valley. I am Nancy Tickner, your worship associate for today's service. We gather today with our doubts as well as our convictions, with our fears and our hopes, with our failures and our aspirations, with our sorrows and our joys. Whether you are joining us today for the first time or you are a member or friend for many years, we're glad you are here. Whatever faiths you have known, if any, whatever your background, whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived here, you are welcome. Our speaker today is Alan Deck, who many of you know. He will talk about seasons of the soul through his music and poetry, as well as readings from our UU Association worship resources. Alan grew up in New Jersey and settled in Virginia in 1995. He has worked as a commercial artist, geriatric nurse's aide, and music teacher. He spent 20 years in the Capuchin Franciscan order, was ordained as a priest, and worked in several parishes. When he left the order, Alan taught English speakers of other languages in the area for 19 years. He leads sitting Tai Chi for seniors sessions and is a certified music practitioner playing therapeutic harp. He also has a blog, Spiritually Speaking. Alan has one published book of poems entitled My Poems, Seasons, and several books of music for lever harp. He lives with his feline buddies, Absalom, Mr. Oz, Chloe, and Maisie in Middletown, Virginia. And now let us enter this time of worship. Our opening words are by Reverend Richard S. Gilbert. We bid you welcome. We bid you welcome who come with weary spirit seeking rest.
Who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid.
We bid you welcome who come with hope in your heart.
Who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous.
We bid you welcome who are seekers of a new faith.
Who come to probe and explore, who come to learn.
We bid you welcome who enter this space as a homecoming.
Who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family.
Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey,
we bid you welcome.
And now, as Alan Deck stays right where he is, let us all say together from our homes the words for lighting our chalice. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, to share. And I invite you to join with me as we say our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament.
To dwell together in
Peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help our neighbor. To these ends we covenant one with another.
Please join me in a moment of silence as we hold in our hearts all those in our nation and the world who are struggling and suffering from challenges related to the pandemic and its economic, social, and educational disruptions, as well as systemic racial injustice and destructive weather events around the world. Words for reflection. Our words of reflection are entitled A Prayer for These Times by Kenneth P. Langer from the UUA Worship Web Library. Let me find peace within so that I may be calm throughout. Let me find silence within so that I may find compassion throughout. Let me be reminded that some things are worth waiting for. Let me be reminded that the journey is more important than reaching the destination. Let me see that the non-doing is as much a part of life as the doing. Let me be reminded that it is in these moments of holding on that I can find quietude and renewal. It is within these times of inaction that I can find rest. It is in these times of emptiness that I can become full. Good day, everyone. Peace be with you. I was asked to come and share some thoughts with you, actually some music and my poetry. Now, it may not be very Christmassy, but it is the end of the year, and it's a time of renewal, a time of reflection, a time in which we reflect on the past year and what it means to us, and we delve into ourselves more and more to find the good that needs to make everything feel better in life. So that's part of this reflection today, delving into the depths of your being. This first part is about the poet and what it takes for a poet to create poetry. This first piece is called What the Bard? ? In a world of stardom and logos, of sprinting after fulfillment and applause, we still search for meaning, for reasons of being in what is. Too busy for long tomes and in-depth treatises, this generation finds inspiration in the short and concise, in song and verse, which dredge through our memories and confirm our being and celebrate reality. The bard unwraps the known world, drawing hope out of the violence, drawing meaning out of the hope. Behind the rhymed words and carefully crafted verses, the essence of what is revealed, fulfilling the very need to connect with the substrata of life in this dimension, even if not understood, even if still left with longing for clarity. The bard journeys ever inward, past the contradictions of everyday life, skirting the ghosts of memories, squeezing past every impending concept, beaming from the sun of the knower, capital K, but yet to be revealed on this fleshly plane by some intuitive monad. Into the cauldron of inspiration, the poet dips his mind and draws out perceptions yet unthought of, and translates into human words their essence, giving flesh to the bones of dreams, creating truths out of holograms. And thus a thing is created, a something out of nothing, a Polaroid of time and existence to titillate, to warm, to surprise, to teach, to uplift, to shock, yes, even to castigate or warn, to prophesy, but always to share something which mind impels the soul and pen to reveal to a humanity ravenous for meaning, and thus is birthed a poem. This next piece is called The Poem, originally. There's one word in here I'll explain, girasole, in case you're not familiar with Italian. Girasole means sunflower. Listening to poetry, I am led to the place where they were born, to the abyss of being where all things are, where every artist enters to ladle out a portion of spirit to hurl into a manic world, breathing into it some beauty, soothing some pain. I stand in the opalescent pool, ecstatic. I stand open as a summer's girasole, whilst the iridescent streams of being splash upon my mind the images that become words that will bear meaning, and another poem is born. I love to do crosswords. Do one every day, not hard ones. Makes me feel better when I can finish one in a day. But this is about that, the crossword, the power of words. Letters spilling over the page like so many useless chads till they find partners and birth words from clues that test mind and memory. The dance of language, a marvelous exercise to communicate the marvels of life, daily miracles, solar cycles, the myriad celebrations, the colors of an egg, the mystery of a black hole, spiritual joy, ecstasy, sex, birth, death. Words console the heart. They excite the mind, inspire purpose, ignite passions, tell stories. They confront the wrongs, stand up for truths, challenge and confirm, making us yearn for clarity and foundation. They speak of gods and angels, of demons and human temptations and joys. Wisely should words be employed in order to avoid diffusion of untruths and confusion, for most are easily swayed by gilded tongues and self-serving jesters, by soothsayers and egotistical demons bent on uprooting peace and filling their own pockets. Sure, chaos is necessary so we might see the value of order and logic. Thus, by one word, chaos can deconstruct, and by another word, love can reconstruct and reorder the peace. Yet both are illusions. Words have power, perhaps more than we realize. So again, wisely should words be employed in order to avoid diffusion of untruths and confusion. Do not be easily swayed, and think before you speak. This last one about poets is, we poets, the watchers perched on the edge of observing, not judging, listening, reporting, not reacting, delving the meaning, reading the signs, traversing the web of life without being caught in it. Oh yes, at times jumping in, immersed and drenched with life. So easy to be lost in the maelstrom and forget who we really are. Yet we poets perched on the rim, sometimes wading in but wary of the tides, knowing when to return to the safety of the ledge till wings grow to carry the senses across the ocean of life, observing, not judging, listening, reporting, not reacting, reading the signs, traversing the web of life without being fooled by it, till the hour tolls and I punch my card and go home, only to return as another to observe and watch, to report, and perhaps to write another verse. I want to share a piece of music with you now. This is more Christmassy, but you may not be familiar with it. It's a Norwegian carol. It's called Little Child. of my poetry, if you haven't fallen asleep yet, is some of them from my book, my poem, Seasons. And this is called Season of the Soul, this part. So some of these are inner reflections. Hope it will take you to a good place, where you can reflect on nature and the goodness of things in the world. This first poem, do you ever, when you drive on the road, you ever drive into the sun and you look at the road, the black macadam on the road, and it's sparkling with mica kind of thing. It looks like stars. And it's not a good thing to reflect like that when you're driving, okay? But I did, and this poem is about that. Or it mentions it anyway, so you understand the term I use. Modern life does tempt the senses, living high on science's inventions. Better embraced by green and silent hills, buzzing wings, waving grasses, and deer-stalked forest, a hermit's Eden, an angel's recluse. I visit myself in home and market, so many faces, so many stories, so little time to hear them all. But grateful and free, I drive my chariot on paths of dazzling stars, always homing to the nest to rest for another day of miracles. Short. This one's called A Glimpse of Nowhere. Have another sip of wine and just relax. Down the quiet road this misty morn, my eye raises to see the eye of God peering at me through the grayness, lighted by that yellow orb, that life-giving death ray, and another day has begun. Upon the edge of nowhere, upon the blue haze of Gaia's shawl, I stand suddenly transported in awesome clarity. I see no wall, no edge, no top, no bottom, but an endless nothing, which is yet something, and is everything, unnameable, unrecognizable from my fragile perch. I know, and I am known. And yet the noir vista is filled with light that casts no shadow. It is filled with life that we may never know of, the variety, the stories, all heaped onto the expanding haystack of being. In the quiet beyond, an aural screeching, beyond the clacking prayer wheel, I see the music played. I hear the colors displayed. I touch the forms still morphing to be. And I am comforted. Life will continue beyond the pale. And every moan, every groan, every scream, every laugh, every note and song, every poem and hallelujah, and every story will blend again, and in one omnipresent chorus, an om will sound that no one will hear, but all will be. Listen, rejoice, listen. There was a truck that went by the way. This is on love. Who told you you were loved? How did you learn it? Some learn it in the gestures of faith. Some learn it through acts of purpose. Some through family and covenants of likeness. And some learn it by taking the road less traveled, flying through their personal wormhole, seemingly alone yet guided, surrounded by flattering angels who discover in the depths of their being the love which binds the universes, the real dark matter which connects the galaxies and like-minded souls. Love which spins itself, which lives a life in gratitude, not needy for creature comforts, but is given all it needs to play out its purpose, once dreamt in the heart of God. next piece is called Purpose. Purpose is a real key to understanding life, I think. When we have purpose, everything is right. Thankful for the blinding morning sunlight animating the solar prayer wheel, splashing golden chips of light on wall and table and hand, distracted. How can eternity exist in this one moment, and this one moment be the vessel of eternity? Yet it does. It is, be, am. Come, melt with me, swim with me in the ocean of divine love, in the luminous sea of life in which you and I were conceived, for reasons known entirely and satisfyingly to the mind which conceives all that is. Amen. This is called the source. Between the solid and the mist, between the rock and the dream, my watch keeps time, but my soul counts eternity. No victim am I, no blame to the world or to a God. I reach deep into the quantum for forgiveness and solace, for truth and inspiration, mining its translucent gold to adorn a world grayed by the bellicose and the dull-witted. I'm not perfect, but I am perfectly made, for a reason, for a purpose, to be Brahma's senses in this fleeting and temporary world. I am made to watch, to wonder, to swim in this ocean of electrons, to play in the elements, to joy in the ecstatic, to transport to realities no one else can dream but me, to touch the heart of the universe, to live in the orgiastic plume of a God who loves me and who makes love to me, who asks nothing but to be, to rejoice, to be thankful. This reflection is called In the End. First, Nastrovia. Thank you. What does it matter if I actually ski on Aspen slopes or watch you ski on TV? In the end, it's only a memory, a virtual experience at most, stowed away in my mind and in the Akashic files of the universal mind. I download the memory and can sense the snow, the sun, the speeding descent in my memory. Did I ski, or was that you? I can believe I did, and that would be enough. I enter the memory fulfills me. Such as that is, I have climbed Mount Everest, driven a submarine between green waters, hiked along the Appalachian Trail, traveled the mountain roads of Nepal, was loved by extraordinarily lusty bedfellows. I have soared amidst stars in the dark expanse of space and spoken face to face with Jesus. So why should I feel I have missed out on anything in this life or any other? I feel it. I remember it as if it were my own actual experience. The memory is enough because, in the end, it is all that is. In the end, we all share one another's experience. The lust for actual experience is an elusive impulse, but it is what motivates life. If I cannot do this or that, no matter, you will, because life will fulfill itself. And ruse not to have missed anything. All is as it should be. You want to do more? Go ahead. You want to do less? You are Tao. Observe. In the end, We have access to the Akashic records and can live any virtual experience. Isn't that what today's technology is teaching us about reality? As above, so below. Here we create tools and machinery to create realities and experiences. In the non-material realms, it all exists virtually. Life exists in memory and mind, every possibility, in the one mind, the one being, the one life. And it is available to all who are awake. In the end, the music of life draws every soul into the heart of God, and we all dance the horo as one. One of my favorite pieces to play is What a Wonderful World. And that's the title of this last poem. An expanding universe with millions upon millions of galaxies. Galaxies! And double that in human measurement from one end of the galactic superstructure to the other. And the galactic superstructure is only one of billions of superstructures which comprise this universe. And we, thinking ourselves so grand, so perfect, powerful, knowledgeable, fall egos bent on God rule, sized just a bit more than a bacterium, and yet iotic forms, and though significant, for every existent has purpose for the all. We are mere extras in the stage of life. We are mere extras on the stage of life. This one world alone teems with diversity, every moment new. Just watch a clouded sky. From virus to whales, diversity abounds, and we are entertained by their being and awed by their beauty and behavior. Color and form to delight and cheer, how can one be bored with so much wonder near? Though we are many, we are one, singing our past, dancing to the music of the spheres, ecstatic for the grandness of it all. What a wonderful world.
Our closing words this morning are by Howard Thurman, The Work of Christmas. When the song of angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins to find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, to make music in the heart. And before we extinguish our chalice, on behalf of the entire congregation, I would like to thank Alan Deck for giving us this beautiful service today. Music in our hearts, poetry for our souls, and it's been a pleasure to work with you to have this service come to fruition. As Alan extinguishes the flame, let us say together from our homes the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of our community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
And I want to thank you for the opportunity to share some of my poetry and music with you. I pray you a happy end of the year and blessings in the new year. The benediction is by John Murray. Go out into the highways and byways. Give the people something of your new vision. You may possess a small light, but uncover it. Let it shine. Use it in order to bring more light and understanding to the hearts and minds of men and women. Give them not hell, but hope and courage. Preach the kindness and everlasting love of God. Happy New Year.
The purpose of this church is to encourage all who gather to grow more generous in spirit and action. We hope that you may consider making an offering after today's service through our webpage, uuShenandoah.org, which allows us to exercise that generosity of spirit for this self-supporting church and its many ministries, which continue, although we are not able to be physically together at this time. We invite you to join our church community at noon for our virtual post-service gathering for joys and concerns, followed by our coffee hour conversations in smaller breakout groups. The Zoom link can be found in your UUCSV email. Thank you for being with us today. May you find peace in 2021. And Alex has one more beautiful musical send-off.